Greetings and welcome to another edition of Between the Lines. We talk about the youth. Tomorrow is Kaka. Ai, niacha na King.
King wataniporea hapo nje nikitoka. Watafikiria ni mswati. Ni sawa. Unataka kuzichukua masimu? Zimeanza? Jipange tena.
Create any space inside.
Atatoka.
So that she'll be able to answer calls. At least kuwe na space ya kwenda kurudi.
So itabidi kauta keti.
Ndio ninasema hiyo kiti sikae hivyo. Kalia hiyo please mama.
Kama ni kidogo.
Greetings and welcome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Wambaje. Namba vyema.
Nimeshawasha.
Amewasha.
Hello. Kwa jina anaitwa Kaka James. Niache wasiwasi. Haya, shakubali.
Hata ukinguruma.
Siwezi guruma kama mashini yangu ya mawe.
Sasa test Kaka.
Mic test. Hello.
Good.
Yep.
So
Any society that does not tap into the zeal and energy of the youth will be left behind. Those are the words by one famous person of this world, the late Kofi Annan. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Between the Lines. I'm your host, Kaka Jackson. Today we speak about the youth. In studio today we have Kaka James Mwangi, CEO of Kaka James Concrete Enterprises. Karibu sana Kaka James.
Asante.
Kaka James will be helping us discuss his journey in business and in the industry of building that is in line with the Big Four agenda. Karibu sana Kaka James.
Asante.
Let's just start from the beginning. Your story is quite interesting. You started your business with 750 shillings.
You're right.
Please guide us through this story.
My name is Kaka James, founder and CEO of Kaka James Concrete Enterprises, a company that deals in manufacture of hollow blocks and quite a number of things aligned to construction. Or the bigger picture is mijengo ya bei rahisi. I started this journey around 11 years ago. I was only 20 when I was starting this. I started with a bag of cement, which then costed me around 750 shillings. Around Nakuru, we are rich in a very important commodity, which is sand, which is found just anywhere. So I started collecting sand from culverts, and I converted them into call them ventilation blocks. So the first bag of cement, you can do it the math. The first bag of cement gave me 200 pieces of the ventilation blocks. 100 of them got spoiled because I had no idea of whatever I was starting. So in the process, I sold the remaining 100 at 20 shillings. So it gave me back 2,000 shillings. I plowed back 2 bags again. So I got 2 bags by 200 pieces. Now this time I corrected on the mistakes I did. After that, I added onto it. I plowed back for a period of around 1 year. At the end of that year, I had around 900,000 from that small amount. It's a journey that was not that smooth, because in the process I could find so many things that were not going as I had planned. But by and by, I got to understand the concept. After that, I started making, we call them the solid blocks. The solid blocks were made from sand and cement. So all this did not need machines, or they just needed some molds, manual molds, which I used to mold the mortar, if I would say. At that time, there was the issue of the third generation alcohol. So there was a lot of waste, or bottles for that matter, that I started using to make the blocks. So instead of filling up the whole mass with mortar, which was scarce because I was collecting it on the roads, I started filling up this the bigger mass of the concrete. I stuffed empty liquor bottles. So the blocks gained momentum and demand because they were lighter, but they were solid from the outlook. But from the inside, there was a lot of hollowness inside. So people started giving me orders because the blocks were lighter. In the process, because I was still saving much, I had to acquire a locally fabricated machine, which I used to now start maybe add on to the production speed.
And before we maybe go to your journey itself,
Yes.
allow me to take you back.
Yeah.
While you were starting this,
Yeah.
were you doing this alone?
Yes, I was doing it alone because I had started off as a youth group. But because of the group dynamics, most of them opted out because maybe whatever I was telling them was too big for them to understand. Because I was telling them in maybe 5 or 10 years, we should be holding at least a piece of the cake in the construction industry, which was not a clear vision to most of them. So they opted out.
And actually, basically, that has been the cry with most youths, actually, who do not have the patience to wait until maybe the fruits are there. Allow me also to ask you, so you had this skill that now you are getting this sand from the culverts,
Yeah.
and now with that one bag, I want you to take you back to the beginning.
Yeah.
The one bag of cement
Yeah.
that was at 750 and the sand. Did you have a previous skill that enabled you to prepare the first batch that you did?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because after my high school, I went into the construction industry as an unskilled worker. That is in our lugha ya mtaani, mtu wa mkono kwa mjengo. So I had learned, my fundi was always on my neck telling me to get 4 wheelbarrows of sand to 1 bag of cement. So that is now a yes, because they gave me an upper hand of knowing the ratios.
And a skill.
And a skill for that matter. So I knew if you play around with cement with your bare hands, your hands will have some effect. So I had some previous skill, but learned over maybe 2 years, because when I was starting this, I was only 20. Yeah.
So so you started at 20. Now take us through the journey. So after the first year, you said you had already created around 900,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
after I had targeted to do 1 million shillings from that one bag, which was to enable me to purchase more complicated machines to boost the production again. So after I acquired that, I applied for youth fund, and I got some 50,000, which was substantial, because that's all I needed to get to my 1 million mark. After that, I continued into production. I rented out a piece of land, and I started a company now. It had a different name, because I thought we would go in line with so many other people, maybe like-minded people, only to realize that we were not of maybe the same idea. We worked with them for around 5 years, and then I opted out by myself. That's when Kaka James Concrete was born.
And allow me, and we'll be coming now to the Kaka James Concrete enterprise.
Yes.
What gave you, where did you get the discipline? Because we know young people and money, and the discipline to be able to maintain this amount to the tune of 900,000. Where did you get the discipline from?
First of all, I would say that I'm born and bred in a very awkward background for that. There's a village around Nakuru near Kiti. It's called Wamagata village. That's where I'm born and bred. The reason why I had that discipline is because I didn't want to go back to the poverty setup. So every day I'm struggling, or I was struggling to move out of my poverty lane and get into this other lane that I don't know. So if you know where you're headed to, it will be easy for you to retain your line and discipline as well. The other thing is I'm a strong believer of Christianity. And most of the things that will make young people get offline is the issue of drugs and substance abuse. I've never tested alcohol or any drug, So I didn't have a chance to waste whatever resources I got. So I stayed focused, and I still think I'm still focused up to now.
Up to now.
Yeah.
And that is very impressive. And for those who are joining us right now, in studio today we have Kaka James Mwangi, a young entrepreneur that started his business with 750 shillings only to where it is right now. So let us talk about, so the journey began and you started getting clients.
Yeah.
How were the clients you were getting, were they more of referrals, or are they just people that came to you and said, I want this?
I've done a lot of marketing, especially online marketing. I want to challenge the young people into online marketing. Because if you have something and you don't have a way of letting other people know about it, it will not make any impact. So I used social media, Facebook. Then there was nothing like WhatsApp in the yesteryears. Yes. So I used a lot of posters and just trying to tell people that I'm doing something. And
social media did this for you?
Yeah, it did. It really assisted me to a point that maybe other people who thought I was doing the right thing came in. The churches, bigger institutions, schools, they called me to talk to young people. In the process, I was marketing what I was doing.
And that is very impressive, especially now when you talk about discipline that has kept you to where you are right now. It's very recommendable. Kaka James Concrete Enterprise. Why did you decide to name it that way?
I mentioned I had started another company with a very, do I say, just an open name.
Okay.
And what the experience I had told me that you cannot do things in the same way and then get different returns unless you're mad. So I thought I should name this business after my own name, so that nobody else will claim that we are partners. So that's why Kaka James is the name and Kaka James is
the individual.
Yes.
Impressive. Yeah. So it was out of the experience that you had.
Yeah.
And allow me just to ask you casually,
yeah,
of the people that you are working with,
yes,
now from that self-help group,
yeah,
have some of them ever come back to you and maybe said, Kaka James, can we buy back into the idea? Can you employ me in your enterprise?
They've come, but as employees. They've come as casuals as well. They've also come as spies, maybe to understand where I'm coming from and where I'm going. So they're always there. But the good thing is that I always want to challenge them that they can start from any point. Because the ventilation blocks I started with are still in demand up to this moment. Even if you start right now, you'll still get clients. And you if you're not trusted with the little, the much also you cannot handle. Yeah.
Impressive. So this is Kaka James. It's another edition of Between the Lines, and we're celebrating the youth who are doing exemplary well in our communities. It is the International Youth Week, and tomorrow is the International Youth Day. We take a small breather. When we come back, we continue to delve more into the life and interesting times of Kaka James Concrete Enterprises. We'll be right back.
Kenyans, we have now embarked on a new phase in the war against COVID-19 pandemic. This is after yesterday's announcement.
Baba boy, kwa nini hizi kesi za corona zinazidi kuongezeka haraka hivi? Ama serikali ina exaggerate ndo apewe pesa.
Wewe unajuaje serikali inaongezea numbers? Wacha serikali ifanye kazi yake na sisi tufanye kazi yetu ambayo ni kusikiza na kujiweka safe. Period.
Mimi hata sijui mtu yoyote akona hii corona. Wewe ushaona?
Mama boy, wacha mchezo. Usitamani kuona mtu ambaye amepatikana na huu ugonjwa. Nasikia ni serious mpaka
daddy. Boy, wacha kusumbua. Nini mbaya na wewe? Sio mimi na babako tunaongea. Baba boy, wacha nikuulize. Ama miletu Afrika iwezi kuaffectwa na hii corona?
Kuwa serious. Hauoni vile ndugu zetu kule Amerika wameathiriwa na huu ugonjwa? Hapa kwetu ni bahati tu.
Hasha kwa softy.
Mami, daddy, nataka kwenda huko nje kucheza.
Unataka kufanya nini?
Nataka kwenda huko nje kucheza ball.
Usijaribu kwenda huko nje. Si umesikia kuna corona? Stay here.
Baba boy, wacha kuasirika mtoto hivyo. Hey? Hii corona si serious vile inasemekana. Mimi hata nimesikia ni kama sisi wote tushaipata na ikapita tu hivyo
Don't spread rumors and misconception. Sisi our part ni lazima tufuate. Wash your hand, sanitize, keep social distance, na uvae mask.
Daddy, basi nikivaa mask naweza kwenda huko nje kucheza ball.
Hey, boy. Huko nje nani atakuchunga? Kaa hapa tutakuchunga.
Hata historia mask mimi siamini. Ukiona vile watu wanazivaa, wengine kwa kidevu, wengine kwa shingo, wengine mapua nje, hata polisi wenyewe wengine hawavai.
Play your part, I play my part, na watu wengine wa play part zao, ili sisi tuweze kupigana na huu ugonjwa. Kwanza inaanza na wewe. Kama huwezi play your part yako, tu play.
Mami, daddy, ni ukweli kuna corona huko nje?
Welcome back. The show is Between the Lines. In studio today we're privileged to have Kaka James Mwangi, the CEO of Kaka James Concrete Enterprises, a young man who believed in something in him and did not allow indiscipline or bad influence to affect him. So keep sending in your comments, keep sending in your suggestions. We shall sample them as the show continues. Use the hashtag Between the Lines. Kaka James,
yes.
Let's talk about the enterprise itself.
Yeah.
So, how many employees do you have in your organization?
I currently have around 200 of them.
200?
Yeah. Most of them are young people, men and women. We don't choose. I run a manufacturing entity, which is the ventilation blocks. We have hollow blocks. We also have engineering works, welding and fabrication. I'm also manufacturing welding machines and also training young people to manufacture the welding machines. I'm also into glazing. I cut glass. I also do, I have a car wash. I have a garage and quite a number of other things.
And it's very impressive that the list just keeps mentioning another thing and another thing. And to imagine that all this just began with an idea and a bag of cement.
Yes.
I think that is very impressive. And where is the location of this company?
We are located at Nakuru Mutaita Road. That is on your way to Mzee Wanyama. We are 4 kilometers from the pipeline gate towards Elementaita or Mutaita. We're just on the road. There's a big sign, Kaka James Business Center, because we cannot call it Kaka James Concrete. It has a whole lot of
other things under it.
Welding and fabrication, panel beating, quite a number of things. Yes.
And let us maybe talk about the cash flow in and out of the company.
Yeah.
Is the cash flow always positive each month? Let's put aside the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's go back maybe 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Is it always positive?
It is. It is. I would say that any person dealing in manufacturing or value addition, negative is not a sign that comes into your books, because you add value. You get different materials, combine them, and you dictate the prices. So there's no way that you can count losses. You either break even or make profits. Yeah.
And now let's talk about the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Has it affected your enterprise?
It has.
Because the pandemic has affected so many other institutions and other lines of businesses.
Yeah.
Has yours been affected, and how?
It has affected. It has affected positively and negatively.
Well, let us hear them.
First of all, is negatively, because I had to cut off some workers because of the issue of social distancing, because they were usually crowded in some areas. Right now, every department has around 4 or 5, which previously was running at around 10 or 15 people. Nevertheless, the positive aspect of the COVID-19 pandemic is that more and more people are into their houses, so they have a long time, or they have so much time in researching on affordable housing, because once you're in your compound, you'll realize there are quite a number of things you've not done, and you still have time because you're working from home. So I've received quite a number of calls on a daily basis. They would not go below 10 or 20. They're very serious clients who want some works done. I've also done quite a number of projects during this period. So I feel that the COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise, because it has created more opportunities. For us who are based on the outskirts of Nakuru, where everyone wants to remain, they don't want to come to the city, they've also realized what happens in their localities. So we've had more and more clients. I've also had a chance to interact with parents who have their children at home and they would want to keep them busy. So I've also interacted with them, and I've also given them a chance to learn life skills as from the Kaka James Concrete or from the Kaka James Business Center. So it's a plus. It's a plus to all of us, maybe. It has also taught us, and me as well, that whenever we should be making the tables, the table is our lives. We should make it having 8 or more legs, so that if one breaks, it's still intact. Yeah.
And it's also, while we do understand the pandemic and the ramifications that it has come with, it's also quite positive to hear that you've been able to break even during this time. Why did you choose that place over maybe the industrial area here in town?
First of all is the space. Being an industrial, being say a remote area, you have a lot of space, which does also it does not come at high or exorbitant rates. So you grow with a place. And also in town, we don't do a lot of construction. It's usually from the villages. So I usually want to grow from the village and make it a better place, or maybe say make it a city or a town, for instance. Yeah.
And what about maybe the pricing strategy for the different things? Do you charge maybe institutions higher, or what is the strategy you use when you're pricing your commodities?
All the prices are, there's no special consideration. We don't give others high prices or low prices. This is because when we're talking about affordability or affordable housing, everyone wants to own a house. I would do a servant quarter for anybody. That is a single room at 100,000, be it a school, be it an institution, because I'm calculating on materials and labor. I would do a 1-bedroom house at 550,000. That is a complete unit of a self-contained house. A 2-bedroom house, be it an institution or an individual, a 2-bedroom house would range from 950 to 1.2 million. A 3-bedroom house would also cost from 1.5 to 1.9 million. So it does not depend on who I'm doing it for. Even if you were to do houses for maybe for a housing project, for instance, the affordable housing that maybe the county government or the national government would want to do, I would still do it at the same rate I'm doing it for you, Karanja, wherever you are. Yeah.
And now, speaking of the team and the entire organization, do you have like a team of professionals that you work with, or is it just Kaka James, CEO, owner, manufacturer, everything, or do you have a team?
I have a team of committed people. I work with my wife, who runs quality assurance and also supervision in the production sector. We also have quite a number of other young people who are into the construction part of it. We have some engineers. I have a committed team of young people who are also very committed in that. Yeah.
And you mentioned that now this is the 11th year that you've been in business.
Yes.
11 years ago,
Yeah.
and where you are right now,
Yeah.
did you envision yourself here?
I didn't. I only thought of making a big impact, but I didn't know that I could employ 200 people. That was something that just came as a surprise, because the team keeps on growing as the client base keeps on growing. So it's something that also came to me as a surprise. And I just realized the number of employees I pay on a weekly basis. And I just thank God for that.
You thank God, and that is very nice, especially in this week that we're celebrating the youths, both here in Kenya, here in Nakuru, and in the world around, that are doing amazing things in trying to alleviate the situation in their lives. The show is Between the Lines. Today we are privileged to have a vibrant youth, Kaka James Mwangi of Kaka James Concrete Enterprises, a young man who began with a vision and 750 shillings as his starting package. Now, let's talk about the organization more. Now, what is the culture that you have inculcated? You've told me that you have a pool of young people that you're working with. What is this one thing you always tell them every other day that you want this to happen?
Thank you, Karanja. Well, the first thing is that I also want them to be as disciplined as the team leader himself. There's a challenge I give them on a weekly basis. They have to save. If they don't save, they have to save. If they don't, they still have to save. Every 6 months, I have to do an audit of every one of the person I pay. They have to show me what they've done. If they've not impacted their lives positively, we've agreed that they just quit. So we have a chama with every one of them. We give out 1,000 shillings. Everybody contributes 1,000 shillings. We've bought motorbikes for most of our fundis. We've also, for those who have bought land, we've also been able to construct simple structures like single or double rooms for them. That is my personal package to them. We've also created like a mentorship program for them and their families. We don't pay them cash. We use mobile payment method. So everyone must have a mobile phone, and nobody will give them cash. So it's also a discipline, because once you're affected by drugs and substance abuse, you cannot maintain a phone. But these guys have to do that, whether they want or not. It's not. We don't give them a choice, because we don't have to meet them for them to receive payment. They only record how many days they've worked. They have their supervisors, so they are paid by their supervisors as well. So it's something that we've created. It's like a database we've created of how much you should earn, how much you should save, and what you should do with the much you've saved. Yeah.
And I think it's a very good thing that when you inculcate the virtue of discipline among these people. What about the community? You do so well with the people that you live with the people that you work with, that is your employees.
Yeah.
What about the community? What is Kaka James Concrete Enterprises? What is it doing, or what does it do to give back to the community?
Thank you for that. First of all, since we're in the construction industry and everybody needs some construction aid somewhere, especially in the area that I'm coming from, the Nakuru East Ward, I've made it a commitment that I donate 100 blocks for every public institution, be it a school, be it a church, be it a hospital. I have donated to quite a number of them, from Zewanyama to even Molo. I mean everybody who comes into contact with me, the pastors, the doctors, whoever has anything to do with the public, whoever is touching the lives of as many people. Like the IDP camps, we've donated quite some much to them, because we believe that once you give, you get much more in return. We've also created not only a business center, but a life skills center, where young people from around where I live, or where the business is located, or anywhere that they can reach us, can be able to access and come learn a few things or what they can do with their lives as well. Yeah.
And I think that is, again, very impressive of you, Kaka James. Now, let's speak about challenges. Every company, every organization often find itself facing challenges. Right now we have the COVID-19 pandemic that you have mentioned has actually come also as a disguise, as a blessing in disguise. Now let us talk about other challenges that affect your organization.
Thank you for that. The major challenge that I would not want to talk about much is the issue of capital. Because capital is a mentality. It's not about how much you have or how much you don't. I would want to be far much ahead than I am right now. So I constrain myself into doing much more than I can be able to do. So there are challenges that come with maybe time. Maybe we don't have enough time to do what we want to do. Maybe our dreams are too big. And also the team, sometimes along the way, we shed off some people who might be tracking us behind. The other issue is the issue of drugs and substance abuse. Among the young people, we have the issue of drugs. It really affects us because every other time we have to look for workers, because some of them are into drugs, they cannot perform well. So along the line, it's also a big challenge. The other thing is the mentality. Most of the people think that once you're employed, you should eat from where you're working from. You know, people always think that you have to swindle whatever, where you're working from is where you can swindle. So those are the major challenges that we have. And also the issue of electricity bills. Sometimes the rates are so high, the licenses and other things. But all in all, these are challenges that are mostly policy, and we cannot do much about them.
But just tackle them head on.
Yeah, we just tackle them head on.
Thank you. Between the Lines is the show. We are speaking with Kaka James Mwangi, a young entrepreneur who is doing a commendable thing in our republic. We'll take another small breather. We'll be right back.
Bwana Waziri,
Now,
we are here to establish how your ministry has spent money that was meant to fight COVID-19. And to get something clear,
yes.
going by your chart, I can see here you wrote 20 billion that went to buy biscuits. And for PPEs, I can see you spent 0.5 what?
I think hapa kuna computer error. This is a computer error. The decimal place is not supposed to be there.
Hey, budget, haiko complete. Where did 5 billion go?
You know, these budgets are normally done by my juniors. Then they hand them over to me.
Bwana Waziri, where did the money go? 5 billion.
5 billion, 5 billion. Well, that went to curfew.
Curfew?
Yes.
What do you mean curfew?
You know, time is money. Sasa, the more people stay indoors, the more the money reduces automatically.
Bwana Waziri, what about 5 million that you got from WHO and LACMA?
LACMA. I don't know about that. My juniors didn't tell me anything like that. Anyway, let me make a phone call. Halo? Ebu nikuulize. Kuna kitu yetu tulipata kutoka kwa jamaa anaitwa LACMA.
And by the way, Mr. Waziri, did you receive any money from Mr. Jack Bauer Foundation?
Jack who?
We wired the money sometimes last month. Jack Bauer Foundation.
Yes, I mean no. Sasa hii maneno imetokea wapi? Nani aliwaambia? Si nilifikiria ilikuwa.
You reckon you can't remember?
No. Yes, hapana.
Welcome back. The show is Between the Lines, and we're discussing the youth and their role in the Big Four agenda. Kaka James,
Yes.
Let's talk about the Big Four agenda, and let's now look at maybe the pillar of housing that now falls just directly under your enterprise. What is your organization doing in line with this specific pillar?
I'm dealing with two specific pillars.
The housing and manufacturing. Sorry.
Yes. So I'm manufacturing materials that will create the housing sector to be affordable for everyone.
Yes.
When you're talking about affordable, the president understands that we've tried natural stone, we've tried mud, we've tried offcuts, we've tried mabati. Now, this is the specific item he's talking about. When he's talking about affordability, he's talking about the blocks themselves, because they are the only new technology that we've not tested in the market. By that, I mean the affordability comes through. By that, I mean if I'm doing a classroom, the same classroom that the government has allocated 1.2 million, I'm able to do it at 700,000. A better quality and at half the time. If it's a single room, I can do a single room 10 by 10 at 100,000. If it's a self-contained room or a bed-sitter, I'm doing it at 175,000. A 3-bedroom house I'll do at 1.5 to 1.9 million. So that is affordable. The reason why it's affordable is that the kind of material I'm using are the hollow blocks. The hollow blocks are the size of the natural stone, which is 6 by 9, but the length is 16 inches. For 200 pieces, you'll need 1 bag of cement to layer them. So a single room would need around 400 pieces. So layering blocks for a single room, you'll only need 2 bags of cement.
Wow.
If it's a 3-bedroom house, you'll need around 3,000 pieces of the blocks. You'll need 15 bags of cement to put up a 3-bedroom house. So that is the affordability part of this. And when it's affordable housing as an agenda, I'm also using young people who are so fast into doing it. We can do a 3-bedroom house in a month's time. We are done with the plastering, finishes, all the fixtures, roofing, and we give you the key in a month's time. A bed sitter, we currently did one 2 weeks ago. It's 2 weeks old, and they've already moved in. So it's something that we're talking about time, the kind of materials, and the costs. That's why I get in. The reason why I'm also able to achieve the affordability is I'm controlling like 90% of the inputs of these houses. I'm doing the blocks, I'm fabricating doors and windows, I'm doing steel roofing, which is also done by my team. We have glazing materials like glasses. So the only thing I don't have, and I have sources, are like the mabati and cement, and we have a factory that is making cement in Nakuru, so it makes my work easier as well.
Impressive. And some comments that are coming on our page. We have Ramtes Legrand Super Kid who is watching. Nyanchama says, this is inspiring. You are not only employing, but you're also mentoring the kind of bosses we want around. Keep doing you, Kaka James. And that is very impressive.
Thank you.
Now, Kaka James, let's speak about politics. And I know you have been involved in youthful politics around our county.
Yeah.
Tell us, what are the youth? Are the youth taking a step back in terms of politics, or are they being pushed back in the observance of things in our country?
I feel that the violent usually take it, and they take it by force. It's upon us as young people to take whatever positions that are there. We don't need to wait for them to be given unto us. The kind of positions that are given to the youth are nominated kind of positions in the assemblies. And once you're nominated, you don't serve your interest, or you don't serve the interest of Wanjiko, for that matter. You serve the interest of the person who nominated you. So we should get into active politics. Let's not wait for people to give us handouts. And once you're given, you should pay that handsomely. I read a book called The Laws of Power. We are told to despise the free lunch because it comes handy and it's too expensive. Young people is a big challenge to us. Let's not go for the little things that we can be able to tackle. Let's tackle the bigger mountains so that we learn for the hills. Because if we tackle the hills, we'll go for the flat spaces. I am, and I've been involved in the politics, both locally and nationally, and to some extent internationally. I've been in the National Youth Council politics, and I'm currently the chair. But I'm the county chair, Nakuru. But it's not about the position that you hold, but the impact the position has brought to your society. We've pushed for agendas even in the National Assembly that will enable young people to get also tenders. The 30% tenders is an initiative that we did at the national level. We pushed for that, and during the times of Babu Namwamba being the Minister for Youth is when the issue of 30% came up. we've also pushed for legislations that will enable young people access local or devolved funds as well. The Youth Enterprise Fund, we've also campaigned for them down at the village levels, because we elected from the village level up to the national level. We've also encouraged people to apply for such amounts, because there's a lot of money that government wants to assist the youth. It's only that we are taking a back seat and saying that it's about who knows who. But from where I'm coming from, my local village, or Magata village, nobody knew me before, but now they know me towards maybe as I come out of the youth bracket. So it's about us to take advantage of what the government has given unto us. And also is a challenge to the local administration, like our county government. Let's not give tenders like flowers and chocolate and sweets to young people. We can handle massive contracts. We have institutions like Kenya Industrial Estates, which is my biggest financer. I'm currently doing their project. I'm doing a fence for them at the headquarters, the Kenya Industrial Estates headquarters in Nairobi. I'm doing their fence for the entire building, and quite a number of them. So we can be able to handle as much as you think. We have the energy, we have the numbers, and we have what it takes. Yeah.
So it's up to we, the youth, to take up now, to convert that zeal, that energy into something productive.
Yep.
At the same time, we, the youths, again, are often at faults. We are given these positions and then we misuse them. We use them for personal gratification, for you to be seen around with flashy cars. Do you think this is something that we can change?
Well, thank you for that, Karanja. We have an obligation. One, we have an obligation to be role models for our younger people, or for now the upcoming youths. We also have a responsibility to guide the younger ones. So there's no point that if we are disciplined, we'll always have a younger person looking up to you for an example. You have an older person in your life who you have to emulate. So sometimes it's about who we emulate that makes us maybe go astray. But if we take it personally, we will not go wrong. Yeah.
We will not go wrong. So as we wrap up, so how can maybe someone who is watching you and would want to maybe procure some services from your enterprise, how can they get you?
We are located at Pipeline area in Nakuru. We Facebook. We called Kaka James Concrete Enterprises, or you can check on our personal page, Kaka James Mwangi. You can also search us on Google. We are Kaka James Mwangi or Kaka James Concrete. We are also on YouTube. The few or the many interviews we've had, Kaka James Mwangi as well. Our phone number, if you don't mind, it's 0721 891 171. 0721 891 171.
171. Final word to the youth out there.
You are as poor as you think, and you are as rich as you think of yourself.
Impressive words by one Kaka James Mwangi. Thank you for finding time to come to our show, and we salute you to the many efforts that you're doing. You are a symbol of what we youth should be. Just believe in what we have and go for it. It's been another edition of Between the Lines. Today we have been hosting one Kaka James Mwangi of Kaka James Concrete Enterprises, a young man who believed in a vision and lived out to see it. Until next time, stay safe.
Kijana kuja hapa umetoka wapi? Unaenda wapi? Saini saa ngapi? Kwa nini na kivipi? Hebu eleza mara moja. Kuja huyu sio madha, kuja hapa.
Officer, mimi ni mtu wa chemist, naenda nyumbani. Hata niko na barua ya essential services.
Ati chemist?
Si unajua serikali ilisema sisi tuko na ruhusa ya kuchelewa kidogo.
Ati serikali ilisema aje? Wewe unasemeanga serikali? Wewe ndio government spokesman. Makosa ya kwanza, impersonation of the government spokesman.
Officer, hata wewe unajua hii curfew imewekwa kupunguza maambukizi, si kudhulumu wananchi.
Imewekwa kudhulumu polisi, si ndio?
Hapana, polisi ndio wanaitumia vibaya.
Sasa unanisomea? Yaani umeacha kusemea serikali, sasa unasomea serikali. You are reading to the government. Hiyo ndio makosa ya ngapi?
Si hivyo officer. Alafu, kwanza wewe mbona hujavaa mask? Si unajua hata nyinyi maafisa wa polisi mnajiweka at risk ya kuambukizwa COVID, Kwa nini humvai mask?
Sasa unauliza serikali maswali tena. You are interrogating the government. Makosa ya ngapi? 3. Tuache mambo mingi kijana. Kwanza nyinyi mmepewa pesa ya COVID allowance. Sisi hata hatujapewa, hata roadblock zilifunguliwa. Cheza kama wewe. Cheza kama wewe.
Ati nini?
Leta ile unaleta kijana na uende kule unaendanga.
Sina pesa officer.
Pause. Unaongeza makosa chia ingine. Ujue sisi ni nani bana? I can take you to quarantine anytime bila makosa yote. I can take you anywhere I want. Saizi hakuna katiba, tumesuspend everything. Unajua sisi ni nani? We have powers. Sisi ndio Kenya police. Unajua kutembea bila pesa ni murder case. Unataka kuwa serikali na njaa? Hebu Thomas nikuone kinyangarika hii. Utasema hiyo mambo yote mbele. Kuja haraka, tembea. Kanyaga kubwa twende.
Alafu ofisa unajua ufai kunikaribia hivi na hata una mask. Unajuaje kama niko na COVID?
Unaishiki vitu kwa mimi, twende wewe. Ai, kwani mtu yuko na corona? Unataka kuwa mimi na corona? Toka hapa shetani wewe, manslaughter wewe, attempted murder COVID-19.